The Rose Window, a Gothic horror romance, written by Alsen Barrett, prologue. And in her dreams, the rose window still burns. Some love is a flame, some love a mirror. But beware the love that does not die, for it may ask you to join it. Chapter 1. Thorncreston, the year of our Lord, 1673. Amid the heathered hills of northern England, there stood a castle that had not known laughter in many years. Its walls, veiled in ivy and mist, held secrets like dried flowers pressed in an old book. Fragile, faded, and forgotten, a carriage wound its way through the bleak moors of Northumbria. The wheels creaked over rutted roads, and the horses' hooves struck dull thuds against the earth, muffled by the ever-rolling fog. Inside the carriage sat a girl, pale of face and quiet in manner. Her name was Elowyn Gray, and she was 17. She had known loss before she'd known love. A fever had taken her parents in a single week, leaving her a ward of the church, passed from one cold parsonage to another. She bore her grief the way the sea bore the moon, always and silently. Now she had been summoned by a distant relation, a Lord Ashenley, whom she had never met, whose name she had only seen on the brittle corner of a letter. "It is your Lord Cousin's wish to provide for you," the vicar had said, folding the letter carefully as though it might break. "He resides in a family estate called Thorncrest." Thorncrest, the name itself sounded like the prick of a thorn in a velvet glove. It was to this castle that young Elowyn Gray was sent, orphaned in a far-off parish, and now to be taken in. By a distant relation, she arrived on a grey autumn afternoon, with only a travel-worn satchel and a heart full of uncertainty. The castle appeared not gradually, but all at once, rising from the hills like something unearthed. High towers pierced the sky. Ivy clung to its stone bones like the grasp of time itself. A single rose window crowned the west wing, vast, circular, and red as blood behind the glass. As the carriage wheels began to slow on the gravel, Elowyn could hear the sound of distant crows cawing, and the wind that swept through the bare branches of what few trees surrounded the large estate. Elowyn stepped down from the coach and into a chill that smelled of old wood and even older secrets. Thorncrest loomed above her, its many towers silhouetted against the bruised sky. Though beautiful, there was a sadness in its stones, as though the castle itself mourned. She was greeted not by family, but by a housekeeper, a woman with a face like carved wood and eyes that did not blink enough. No one else seemed to live there, though Elowyn was told there was a lord. Lord Ashenley, the last of his line. But there was no warm welcome, only the stern housekeeper named Mrs. Pell, whose narrow eyes flicked over Elowyn as if assessing her weight, her posture, her soul. "You'll take the east chamber," she said. "You'll not go roaming. Lord Ashenley values privacy." Elowyn nodded. She had long learned not to ask too much of strangers. Inside, the castle was a cathedral of silence. The halls were tall and dim, hung with oil paintings of stern men and sorrowful women. Tapestries whispered as she passed. A grandfather clock ticked like a heartbeat in an empty room. But the west wing, that was where the light lived. It was there she saw him. The rest of the story would be continued in Chapter 2.